Well, hello there, and welcome back to Good in the Middle Way. I'm your host Rob, and I'm so happy that you're here. Welcome back. How have you been? I'm hoping this finds you well. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about RESPECT. That's right, respect. And what you think about, is respect earned or given? Now, on the Buddhist path, in the middle way, we would argue that it should be given. And I'll tell you why. You see, in this school of thought, we are born many lifetimes. We believe in rebirth, and that as this body goes, the mind continues and goes to another body, another incarnation and we have this, endless eons of time, which is just eons of just this long stretch of time. And we could really never know how many lives until we got here. But with that in mind, we ascribe how we were previously in other episodes as well, that we are here because of others. Especially as a human being, right? You're a baby, you can't feed yourself, you can't wash yourself, you can't move around and get anywhere. You need the care of your mother or a loving family and support. You have to be supported. And so on the middle way, we take that idea and think of the countless lifetimes of the countless other beings that took care of us when we needed caring for, And so that would lead us to say that, we should have a respect that is given to others because at some point that being is, or rather has been, or will be, in Tibetan system they say, you're a kind mother, all of our mothers, either in the past or in the future. Now, even if you don't ascribe to all of that, which is okay, we can see the benefits of having respect for one another, our community, and our environment. By having a basic level of respect, it really helps the world go round. And I think it's just so important, right? Like personal space, boundaries, etiquette. We can't function as a society without these things. So it's important that we learn respect and that we give respect. In fact, even following proper social etiquette is a form of giving proper respect to somebody else and their existence and acknowledging, hey, I see that you're here and this is how we'll function in the same space together. And then other people might say, thinking like, oh no, respect is only earned, it's only earned. Guess what? You are doing it. So at some level, you're actually, a little on this side too. Now, to be fair, right, let's think a little bit about, should respect be earned and can it be earned? Is this modality a good way of thinking and going about life? It can serve some purposes. And yes, to have a certain level of self-respect, you should, in a way, kind of have people earn certain things. They should earn certain accesses to you. Your access shouldn't necessarily just be freely given. You could easily be taken advantage of. There's, a whole slew of terrible things that could happen. So if we're on a scale of 5, right, somewhere in the middle there, there is some respect that needs to be earned before you can trust, before you can gain access. So maybe, I'm talking about the next 2 to 3 stage. But if you go to stage 4 and stage 5 of you have to earn my respect, that's ego. And big ego leads to big trouble. If you're thinking about, oh, they have to, prove this to me and they have to earn my respect, and they have to earn this and they have to earn that, in this sense of entitlement, it will stunt growth in relationships, it will stunt growth in the workplace. Really thinking about it, from as unbiasedly as you can, it might serve some purpose, but ultimately it's limited and it doesn't drive connection. this validation game exists. You can see it from, everything from family to work, school, sports. You're trying to get validated and chasing this thing of earning that validation and, chasing up this ladder. But some people come to find that that ladder is like Jacob's ladder, right? It's like endless. I don't think there's an end to that thing. And even if there was, there's just all these levels where you're jumping through hoops and you just keep trying, and then you're disappointed because, it's like the carrot on the string, right? That people could just keep doing that, putting it before you to just keep chasing after. And at some point, you'll get tired of it. At some point, you're going to look and say, how about you earn my respect? How about you earn my time and my access to me and to be, a part of my life and my story, And that's where it's just limited if we really focus on this is ownership a word? Either way, this whole earning idea. There are things to be earned and not just, freely given. I think there is a good balance, and it helps motivate. It gives us discipline. We can think of scenarios for that. But, that scenario, there is a fence. There is a clear boundary. And then once it goes past that, it's into ego land. And then the ego is, as we know, causing all these issues, and this clinging to the self and I, me, and I am important. And, that is so far from where we want to be, especially on the middle way. We may not reach enlightenment in this life. We may not, fully have certain realizations, but this is a realization that helps. By having respect for one another and respect then for the community and, to live and create more harmony, you live a better life, a more peaceful life, and that's ultimately the most satisfying sort of feeling, is being in harmony with yourself, then your immediate loved ones, your community, respecting the environment and the animals, and that we've all manifested under the big banner of the sky on this earth. We're all here. And we all have that right to be here, because just as you have come to be, so have they, right? And so to have that mutual respect, and I think that's the key word, the mutual respect is important. And if you can successfully sort of start tapping into this and this idea, I challenge you this week to kind of just examine your mind around, am I being respectful to the person next to me on the train? Am I being respectful to my spouse? Am I being, respectful to my children as well? Your children are people too, and they have feelings, and they're not just to be seen and not heard. They're just meant to be seen and heard. That was very bad advice, and part of why we have a lot of chaos in society, but I could go on. The point being, respect is important. We have to have respect for ourselves, for our things, for the world in which we are in, and have respect for each other. And give each other that dignity, because that is, what eventually can help us lead to, you might think differently than me, but it's fine, because, you could walk this path alongside me, and I could do my thing, you could do your thing. There's enough room for both of us. Great. But it's this lack of respect for one another and our common humanity is driving this division and this fighting, and it's just so awful to see. So, if you found this helpful, please give us a like or subscribe, only if you feel inclined. It just helps other people find us along the journey, and that's just how the algorithms work. Otherwise, I will leave you with our peaceful breath and my well wishes that you are free of suffering, you have the conditions of happiness, and may you have a really pleasant week, thinking about these things and where maybe we could be more respectful in our own lives. And so with that, peace in and peace out. Thanks for joining us, and until next time.